Hey everybody, Roxabox90 here with the final video of the draft. We're going to be putting together the deck and we'll discuss a little bit about the thought process. So of course, you don't always know if you drafted the best, especially in Cube Tutor, because you can't really sort your cards very well when you're doing the draft itself. At least I don't know how to do that properly. If there is a way, let me know and I'll do that in future ones, but I'm pretty sure there isn't, and it makes it a bit difficult. So we're kind of eyeballing all the time, and here we can look at and see what we have. So we're pretty sure we're not running blue, so we can just ignore blue. And I think what I'll do, even though this is called the sideboard and this is called the deck, we're gonna leave the blue in the sideboard, even because basically the non-use pile, since we're not going to be running any blue. Other vials pretty much guaranteed. Let's go for the more universal stuff first. So we're probably going to run Evoker. The two swords are with pretty much without a doubt. Where's the other? There we go. Two swords. Any other universals? No. Okay. So now let's look in terms of, let's take the stuff that we would probably take, and we'll sort it out down there. So let's do sorting. So I think we're going to leave out black, even though you think we would run it because we did take some black stuff. But you really, again, this is being careful. You don't want to force a color. And we definitely have more options with red, white, and green. So let's stick with that. Let's grab all those cards. Sorry again about the clicking, but that's pretty much the way I can avoid misclicking is by doing this. So let's grab all the cards that are non-black. As you can see, we did pretty much choose the bulk of our cards for the colors we want, which is, of course, what is ideal in any draft format. So we picked pretty much everything that we could draw from. So we have 39 cards, and we really want to cut it down to probably 22, 23 cards. How do we do that? So we look at our curve. Our deck is red, green, and white, which is the more aggressive colors. So we do want to keep our aggro curve up, and we want everything to be balanced. So here we do have pretty much the proper 4 drops, the proper 5 drops, and the proper X/up drops. So I don't think we have to worry too much about these 3. Is there anything that we would yank out off the top of our heads? I don't think so. Everything is pretty splashable. We could also sort, don't forget this lets us sort by color as well, which maybe we should do first. So as you can see, green and red have the bulk, with white not being the best splashable because they do have the real Spear of Heliod and Ajani are the 2 difficult cards. The other ones will be played later, so it won't matter as much about having 3 white or 2 white. But if you can see, green and red are the bulk colors, so chances are white is going to be our splashed color, which is fine. It really is, unless we see anything. No, most likely white followed by red, because green has the most consistent color. So white or red, one of them will be the splash. So let's go back. And Turn and Burn's actually not quite good now because we cut out half of what it does, and it's not really all that necessary. So let's actually take out Turn and Burn. We don't need that. Okay. So we are going to need to mess around with this. We're going to try to yank out, let's see here. Jaya is going to be a sideboard. We don't want to run her unless we're running against blue, because she's not super awesome without blue. I mean, she's fine. She's fine, although I'd rather not run her unless we're running against blue, because she is 2 red, and 2 red in the 3 slot is not always the best thing. All right, so again, we're trying to splash white, and speaking of splashing white, it actually works perfectly. We only have 2 and 2, and these are actually the easier drops. I would rather not have 2 cards with 2 white in them, but we'll hold off on that for a minute. I think our three 1-drops are fine. I don't think we need Jackal Pup, to be honest, because we are not running that aggressive. And yeah, that definitely saves us a spot. Our deck wants to land turn 2, guys, is pretty much what we're doing here. Restore. Fauna Shaman. We do want to force our way up as much as possible to get our big guys, so we do need to cut more here. Let's get rid of Searing Blaze because we're not running such burn, and that's 2 of the color, which is a bit awkward. So let's get rid of that. Price of Progress. is another card that we might want to hold off on. We'll keep in the sideboard in case we're running against a deck that has lots of non-basics. If we're running against a deck with basics, we don't really want that card, so let's keep that out. But it will always help us because we don't really have any non-basics. Basically, we have no non-basic lands at all in the deck, which is great for us because that will help us against our opponents. Then here we have Stagger Shock. It's okay removal, but I don't think we're gonna. I don't think. I like Seething Song. Stagger Shock is fine when I think about it. Creature destroy that creature. Whenever it just comments up that you would draw a card. Orin Viper. Ascetic is more aggressive and can regenerate. Orin Viper is a little weaker. I mean, it is a deterrent because it acts as a form of removal, so I think we will keep it. Ooh, this is a tough part because if you're in cube, you always have amazing stuff. So we will want this against non-basics, especially if we're running 3-color, which we are, although we do want to try to minimize the dual color. So I think we are going to yank out Kazali because we really don't want to get stuck with him. We really don't want to get stuck with him. Yeah, I think we're going to yank Kazali. We don't get stuck with him so early. Revoker is almost always going to be good for us. So we're down to 33. And our curve is looking pretty good. I don't think we want to, I think we have a perfect 2 drops. I think we want to keep that 2 drops the way they are. 3 drops are, maybe we could cut a couple of more 3 drops. It's almost making me want to get rid of Pillar of Flame just to make the curve more consistent. We don't want to have Pillar of Flame for most of the game. It's not going to do that much for us. And we're not running heavy burn, so I think we'll cut out that. And now we want to get rid of, I think, 1 or 2. I'm thinking Stagger Shock. Get rid of Stagger Shock. So I prefer Seething Song. I'd rather get us our bombs and our huge stuff more quickly. Notice here that we didn't draft heavily enough on the bombs. If we were trying to go for bombs, we really should have grabbed more bombs. And I don't think this is the normal ratio. 3 bomb, 3, 6 or more is probably a little low. We probably want 4 or 5 in cube. But we did map out our curve well. We do have a bunch of good 5 drops. We have good stuff. So we're down to 31 cards. And this is the hard part because you have to just trim. I'm worried about Ajani not being consistent because if we get him, we do want to land him earlier rather than later, although he will enable our big guys and small guys to have evasion. So I think we're going to get rid of Troll Ascetic because it's 2 green on the 3 and we don't want necessarily to have trouble with that. Staff is really good. Seething Song, Spear of Heliod. Spear of Heliod it's nice because it's basically just remove on a stick, which is what we want. I think we'll get rid of Restore, unless we see that our opponent's really running lands that we want to grab, and then we can always sub it in. I'm not a huge fan of Fauna Shaman, but I see, I mean, what's our creatures? We have 16 creatures. We're only going to cut 1 more creature, and then we'll have to minimize other stuff. So, or actually we can leave it at 16. Let's cut some other stuff that's not creature based. So, not creatures. Not creatures. As much as I want to keep Mirari's Wake, I don't think we need Mirari's Wake. Because by the time we land it, I don't think we're going to need it. Let's get rid of Marshall. No, I like it as a Wrath. Or it just makes guys for us, which either way helps us. I really don't like this because now we have to, this is what often happens in Cube, which is that we're down to the last 4 or 5 cards we have to cut, and it's frustrating because you have to cut. I mean, Avalanche Riders is better for the most part than Ravenous Baboons, so I think if we're going to get rid of, Hi. This is really tough. I like other rubs. If we drop it, it's mostly going to help us with our getting us more aggressive. Yeah, the video is going really long at this point. All right, so this, I'm having trouble finishing this here because I don't want to drag the video forever. But really what it would come down to now, we have 29 cards. We have to cut at least 5, probably 7 preferred cards. And really what we want to cut is the others. We don't want to have others because we do need to have a minimum amount of creatures. So if we were cutting others, we would probably cut things like Seething Song, and maybe Seething Song, maybe Mirari's Wake. Yeah, it's really tough. Devil's Play can end the game, but it's annoying as a sorcery. It's removal also. All right, so let's figure this out. Okay, so we have 15 creatures. We want to keep it that way. So we need to get rid of three or 4 more cards. And this is where it gets really tough. We're being more aggressive. So let's get rid of the Ravenous Baboons. I know we're really pushing it. We don't want to go lower than, really we don't want to go lower than 15, but in this case we're going to go 14. And we do need to cut a couple more others. I don't like this position. Let's get rid of Devil's Play. All right, I mean, we could make do with this. We could do 15, and since green's obviously the most, with green and white being the most colors and red being splashed, because you only need 2 and 2 red and that's it. So that's pretty much what we do. We'd maybe do like 7 and 7 green and white, or maybe 8 and 6 green and white, and then like 3 or 4 red, and that would be our colors. So sorry the video ran a little long. If you guys had better ideas here about what to finish cutting and or how you would have taken our pool and made the deck, let me know down below in the comment section as well. If you enjoyed the video and the series, tap the like button, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe. As always, Quad9s signing out. I'll see you guys next time.